Today we're going to be doing a full gear loadout of my fall setup, and you can see piece by piece the exact equipment I'm going to be using on the Colorado Trail tomorrow and the Lost Creek Wilderness Loop here very soon. I'm not an ultralight hiker. You can see I'm bringing a lot of stuff with me, in fact more than I need to, but sometimes it's fun to have gear out there, sometimes it's comfortable to have gear out there. So I'll go through, we'll take a look at what it weighs at the end, but again, not ultralight hiking. The first thing I'm going to start with is my pack. This is an Outdoor Products Stargazer 8.0, and it's a pack I've had for 7 years. I've used it for 7 seasons. It's worn. You can see stuff starting to break down on it. But you want to talk about a brand you don't see people using a lot, Outdoor Products, not the most expensive thing out there, but they have a lifetime warranty. If you want at any time, or if I want at any time, I can send this in, get a new bag. I just haven't. I've been using it for a long time. There are 2 schools of thought when it comes to packing. One is going to be leave stuff loose so you can compress it in. I used to put my tent at the bottom of my pack, press everything on top of it. The other school of thought is going to be using stuff sacks. And right now I am using stuff sacks to pretty much organize everything, and we'll see how that works. So the first thing that we're going to put in here is my tent. This is the Ozark Trail single wall backpacker tent. I've been using it a lot, and like all the other gear, or like most of the other gear here, I've got a detailed review if you want to check it out. So I'm going to put this tent in the bottom of my pack. It's the first thing that goes in. A lot of people say they like to keep these at the top of their pack or on the outside. However, it's a heavy, bulky item. It weighs 2.8 pounds, so I want it at the bottom. Next thing is going to be part of my sleep system. This is the Big Agnes Air Core. This is the red one, not the blue one, so it doesn't have the real high R rating, but it's great. Even in cold weather, it's great. And I've had this thing for several years. Works really, really well. So next, I'm going to go with my sleeping bag. If I don't drop it. This is the Ozark Trail 40 degree, and it's a rectangular bag. It's a larger bag. I don't like mummies, I've realized. I have a couple mummies. They're hanging out in my shop. I'm not a big fan of them. I like to be able to spread out, move my legs. I'm a side sleeper. So I've got a rectangular bag. It's only rated to 40 degrees. Now this is September in Colorado. So nights are going to be in the low 30s. So I'll show you what else I'm bringing. This is going to go right here. So to complement that, I'm also going to be bringing a down liner. This is the Black Diamond down quilt. I use this as a liner inside of the sleeping bag. Works really well. Now before I go much further, I'm going to load waters in. And I'm bringing 2 1-liter bottles of Smart Water. Like every hiker out on the trail now, we used to have Nalgene's. Everyone's now got these Smart Water bottles. What's cool is I have a Sawyer filter. As we probably know, you can screw that on here and then use this as a filter bottle if you need to or if you get lazy. But I'm going to carry 1 on each side of my pack. And I'm putting them in now so that I can stuff gear in and I don't tear the heck out of these later. Like I said, I've used this bag now for 7 seasons, so it's pretty damn worn, but I still like using it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is my tent poles. So I've already got my tent in here, I've already got my sleeping bag in here. What I like to do with the poles is come over to the corner. Before I get any more gear in, just settle it all the way into the corner there, and then I've got my poles and my tent already loaded up. So down liner, need to put that in. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to go with, well, let's see. It is a little different using stuff sacks how I put it in. All right, I'm going to go with my puffy coat, and this is a Swiss Tech puffy black coat. It's not down, this is synthetic, so it's pretty inexpensive, but it packs up nice. It's very warm. It can get wet and it stays warm, which is nice. So I'm going to get that in here next. my pillow. This is the Climate Extra Large pillow. Not the most comfortable thing in the world, but a luxury item that I just started carrying last year, and it's well worth it. It's nice to have something out there to put your head on other than just clothes that you've bunched together. All right, so extra clothes. These are my extra clothes for the trip. I'm planning 2 3-day trips. So what you see me packing for here is just going to be 3 days out there. This is a full pair of long johns or thermals for underneath when I sleep, pair of like jogger pants, extra socks, extra undies, 1 extra shirt. All right, now I've got a poncho. This is a Frog Togs poncho. Nice to have. I didn't carry these for a long time. I would use a coat instead or try to get shelter if it was raining. My tarp. This is a 7 foot by 5 foot tarp. I can use it as a ground sheet if I need to. If I'm on a bunch of pine straw, I don't really need a ground sheet. I can use this as a tarp overhead if we have a lot of weather, but I typically bring 1 tarp with me as well. Oh, I forgot to pack. I forgot. And as always, when putting a pack together, I forgot to put something in the normal order I do. So I'll get to that in just a second. But we're starting to get loaded up here. Now, most of this little stuff's going to go in the front or the top. There's just a couple items left that need to go in the pack itself. So when I say there's some items I don't need that are just kind of fun to have, this is one of them. This is the Coughlin's Backpacker Grill. We're going to be able to make campfires out there if we want to. There's no bands, and it's nice to have a little grill that you can set on the fire, boil your water, not have to worry about fuel. Very cool to have. So that just goes back in the hydration pouch. I don't use a bladder for drinking. I use it for carrying water. We'll talk about that in a second. So got the Backpacker's Grill. The next thing I want to throw in here is my cook set. I'm going to bring the 5-piece mess kit. This thing weighs like 14 ounces. There's much lighter options, but again, it's nice to have. I can cook whatever I'd like with it. Very convenient. Two different stove options. This is the Loadout wood stove, weighs almost nothing. Slide that in the back pouch here as well with my other grill. In fact, let me do that right now. And then if I need to make a fire, if I need to cook without a fire, I'm going to use my folding stove. And I've got a few videos with this. I've got a Sucrets tin full of sterno that I'm going to use for fuel, and that'll let me boil water, that'll let me cook as needed, and very easily can do that without having to start a fire. That goes right here. So the only other stuff to go in here are going to be a pair of gloves, and these are just little Wells Lamont padded gloves. I like to have these if I'm hiking with trekking poles, also just to have when I'm making a fire. Stuff those down. And my water bladder. Right now the hose for this is inside the bladder itself for transportation, but this is something I use for dirty water, and I'll hang it as part of my gravity water filter. I also can just use this if we're coming across a water source and I need to grab a couple liters of water. I can fill this up, throw it on the top of my pack, cinch it up. I can hang it if my pack's too full, but I like to have this near the top so that I can get this filter water as needed. Okay. So as we move into the colder part of the year, I have a lot more gear. I have a coat, I've got a down quilt. There's stuff in here I haven't been carrying. You can see it's a little more full than normal. Still plenty of room up here, and what I'm missing is food, right? So I'm gonna have about 2 pounds of food for 3 days, 2 nights, maybe 2.5 pounds of food that'll fit up here real easy and that will cinch up. Now for the smaller stuff, on top, I like to keep things that are gonna be really easy access that I need to get to quickly. That's gonna be a power cell for my phone. I actually have 3 of these that I'll carry. I can charge a phone fully almost 3 times off of 1 battery. And I use my phone for a lot. I use it for videoing. I use it for my books. I use it for Netflix if I have stuff downloaded to watch later. I also use it for GPS. OnX Maps is an amazing app. You have to pay $30 a year, but it turns your phone into a fully functional GPS device. Download all the areas you're going to be before you get out there, and then you don't even need signal. You can see in high def where you are. You can see trails. It's a great thing. You can track how far you've gone. Really, really cool app if you haven't checked it out. So that is the first thing I put up here is my electronics, headphones, charging cable. It's all going to go up here. I also am going to be putting wet wipes and a shovel. And, you know, I actually have a titanium shovel. They call it the Deuce. And I like this one better just because it's a little heavier duty. You can actually get in there and dig. If you're going to make a fire, this is nice. But I like to have this little collapsible shovel as well as some wet wipes. Got my Sawyer filter, so my water filter. It's the Sawyer Mini. Got that in a Ziploc pack. I also have a little roll of toilet paper that's in here, so we can use that as tissue or as needed. And really, that's all that's going to go up here. Typically, I'm also going to have any maps that I need up here and a pen for writing or for permitting. I'll have that up here as well. But anything that needs easy access, I like to keep in this top pocket. And then in the front sides, I like a pack that has these like front pockets. You'll see in my hunting pack, it's got the same thing. This is a design I like because I like having the ability to kind of put things in different areas and know where they are. Some people don't like that. I do. So what I'm going to do here is first aid kit. That always goes in the very bottom on one side. I've got insect repellent. The mosquitoes were really bad this week when I was out there. So I'm going to slide this into the back. So 10 stakes I'm bringing. These are the stainless steel hoops. They weigh more than the aluminum kind. I have the aluminum little triangle ones. However, those are very frustrating if you're in rocky soil. It can be nearly impossible to use them. These are indestructible. That's what I'm going to bring. For my pocket knife, I'm going to bring this Swiss Army knife. It's a fisherman edition, so there's a few extra things on here specifically for fishing. I've had this since 8th grade. Great knife. And what I really like is that there are scissors and tweezers. So in first aid situations, can be really, really handy. This is my MacGyver bag, I'm going to call it. And my MacGyver bag's got some duct tape. Basically, this is a bag that if I need to fix things or if stuff's going wrong, hopefully there's something in here to help. Here, I'll just pull it out. There's duct tape. We've got the little round, what brand is it? Tenacious tape, but these little round patches. You can use these for a tent, an air pad, a jacket. These things stick like crazy and are very, very good for patching. I've got waterproof matches, a couple fire starter sticks, an extra clasp for my bag, same size that my bag uses, so in case one of these clips or clasps break, I can just replace it pretty easily in the field. And then lastly, a tent pole repair. So if one of my poles, if I have an aluminum pole and it bends, or if I have a fiberglass pole and it breaks, you can sleeve it with this. This will be a support for that pole, duct tape it in place, and you can at least get through the trip. Those go on that side as well. All right, next thing to go in the front is going to be my bear bag line. This is the cord that I use to hang my bear bag when we get out there. I like to have that very easy to get to. I like to have my food on top. That way I can just, right when we get there, throw it over a tree, hang the food, don't have to worry about it. But this is going to go in the front pocket as well. Along with a headlamp. You want to talk about rinky-dink? This is probably the most rinky-dink two pieces of equipment I have. It's a 100 lumen Ozark Trail headlamp. This thing has two settings, high, low, always on a wide beam. Nice when you're in a tent, nice when you're at camp. This is a 200 lumen, really just a torch that you can 100 yards away pinpoint something and see what's going on. I like to have that as well. So these are my two light sources and probably two of the biggest areas where I can improve and gain some weight. Gain some weight reduction, I should say. All right, two last things. Extra paracord. I just like to have that in case. That is if I need to hang a tarp, if I've got something else going on. A whistle. Now, I've got a whistle though. Always make sure you have a whistle, right? That's one of those 10 essentials if you are in scouts. You need to have a way for people to hear you and to get a hold of you, or for you to get a hold of them, I should say. But make sure you got a whistle. This one also has a compass on it. It's got a little magnifying glass, and it's got a thermometer. I like that thermometer because I can see kind of how cold it gets. All right, so two last things. We'll see how much this thing weighs. So we've got the bear spray. This is the Frontiersman brand bear attack deterrent. I've had this for a couple years. It is good until next summer, 2020. And at that point, I'll have to get another can. When I get another can, maybe we should try this one out in the woods and see what it's like to spray, because I've never actually sprayed one. So this is gonna go in my pack. It goes on the side where I can get to it very easily next to my water. And it's on my right side in front of this water. So this left side water I'll be drinking. This side, if I need to. No, I'm kidding. All right. So let's go ahead and close this up. Got everything loaded in except for this. My newest piece of gear, which I just arrived, the Thermarest Z seat. The reason I got this is because my buddy Chris has the Thermarest mat, and every time we would stop last time we were camping, he could just throw that out, very comfortable to sit on. This thing doesn't weigh anything, it's very lightweight, and I think I'm gonna strap it on top. This is actually a strap I've never used on this pack before. And it's got a little latch to go back here that you can use for a bedroll, I always assumed, or something. But anyway, got that in here. So that is it. 2 liters of water, bear spray, all my gear, clothes, everything but food. This will be, like I said, another 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds when fully loaded. Let's see how much it weighs. 25.82 pounds. So just under 26 pounds. All right, so 25.8 pounds without food. With food, it's going to be another 2 or 3 pounds heavier. Not even sure how heavy that is compared to what you guys are doing, but I appreciate you watching the video. We'll be out on the Colorado Trail tomorrow, and then Lost Creek Wilderness Loop real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.